Hi everyone, I just wanted to do a video on how we should use our thought processes carefully and how to prevent ourselves from having a thought virus. Now, quite a lot of the time we condition our thoughts based on our experiences. So our life conditions us on how to behave in certain experiences. And the way that we approach and tackle each experience differently is because we have learned to deal with different ways in natural life situations. So throughout our life, we would come across an experience and we would teach ourselves how to adapt to that experience. And the circumstance that we are in at the moment is an unusual one and one that we haven't encountered before. So what's happened is we've all been put into a situation where we've then had to adapt and condition ourselves so that we have learned a new way of coping. And what we can call this is a defense mechanism, because we have defended ourselves in a new situation and we know how to act in this new situation. And when we use defense mechanisms, we put ourselves into a survival mode. And we store this mechanism for any future life experience. So if we was to come across another experience that we wasn't used to, we would have a defense mechanism around it. And then we would go into survival mode and come up with a new way of coping. And what this does is it stores this mechanism for any future life experience. So any time that happens again. And we call it autopilot. So we become into autopilot. So if anything like this situation we're in happens again, we would have the resources and the knowledge to know how to deal with it again, because we have it stored as our autopilot. And our autopilot is fantastic. It's so great in certain situations. For example, if we was in the kitchen and our saucepan is overflowing with hot water, we know from previous life situations that our autopilot will turn it off, because we know we associate hot water and overflowing saucepans with danger. So we straight away know from previous experiences that that's not okay. And we'll turn it off. A, because we've been in that situation before, and B, because we have created a defense mechanism. If we haven't been in a situation with the hot water overflowing before, our mind would straight away ask us questions. It would go into a deep sense of thought of what could happen, why is this happening, why is it happening to me? And we begin to create our own thought process. And this is what makes us anxious, and it makes us have fear. And when we haven't been in a situation and we ask our own questions, we have to make a conscious choice as to what we should do next. Should we turn the saucepan off? Should we leave it on? Do we call someone? What do we do? And when our mind is in a conscious state, it's how we react is the most important thing, because we can panic and we can become anxious, or we can deal with it in a strategic, logical way. So how we react and perceive situations are the reason why we behave in certain ways. If we let the hot water continue to flow, then we could have burned ourselves. And if that did happen, if we did burn ourselves on the hot water, next time we was in a life experience with hot water, we would associate it with that fear, with that irrational belief that every time we're with hot water, that's going to happen. But over time, this belief and fear can spread throughout other different environments, and it becomes a thought virus, because every time we think about that or think like that, we get this thought virus, and we need to eliminate that. So we really need to think about how we're reacting to certain situations. And usually how we feel about something bothers us more than the actual something itself. So if we was to go to someone's kitchen and they had hot water and we had an irrational fear about it, it would be because there was hot water there, not because there was a saucepan with hot water. You know, it's because we associate that with that fear. And if we reframe how we feel, it becomes entirely different to us emotionally. So the message here is we need to change our belief system and how we believe things will factor our life experiences. In order to deal with problems, we need to think about how we react. And the best way to do that is to ask yourself what the trigger is. What is your current belief around that topic? And what is the reactive consequences? Go head to head with your problem and break down the defense barrier, break down the defense mechanism and find out why are you acting in that way? Notice and monitor your negative thoughts and make conscious choices rather than letting your autopilot take control. So when you see that hot water, go head to head with it and think, why have I got this for? It happened to me once, or it's never happened to me before. And break down why and how you can react differently. Notice and monitor your negative thoughts all the time. Tune in with how you are feeling. When you are able to spot your negative thoughts, you choose to substitute a more realistic interpretation. So you're not thinking straight, you're not thinking consciously. You're thinking with your irrational fear, and therefore you're not making the right decisions. So ask yourself this: what are you afraid of? What would really happen? And how bad would that outcome be? Will that outcome kill you? Is it failure or an unexpected outcome? And is it a setback? Take a moment to analyze your thoughts and eliminate any toxic thinking. We don't want thought viruses, and we don't want our subconscious to go into autopilot with fear. To react and think logically and know what you're thinking about and associate it with good things.